Hi guys,
everyone.
welcome.
Bethany and Sparky here. This is Ask a Puppy Trainer show.
And we have Sophie.
Sophie, how cute is she? Oh my goodness.
Fingerprints. We're very happy to see her on our show today. Sorry, the mic.
It's supposed to go under your shirt. Why didn't you put it under your shirt like
It always
do?
gets all messed up.
He always tries new things. Oh, Lord.
I like to try new things.
All right, everyone.
Bethany.
This is episode number 74. I think I might have said that already. Okay, and we're going to jump right in. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments below, and we'll get to them. Maybe not all of them, but we'll get to some of them. So you can try. As I just sit here and look at Sophie. Okay.
We only have 5 questions, but we'll still probably take 35 minutes to go over them.
What? They're short, too. Like
That
they're
means nothing.
short.
That means nothing.
They're short. Put your questions down below. Okay.
Oh, no, we'll answer as many as we can for sure.
Okay. A linear Romero Alejandre? Maybe. Okay.
That's good.
3-month-old. I just committed is what I did. I just looked at it and I just committed. All right. 3-month-old pug. How can I stop the biting everywhere? We just got him.
That sounds like a fun one. Okay, so what do we do with our pug throughout the day? So most of the biting isn't a result of what we're doing in the moment. It's a result of the structure we have throughout the day. I am the structure guy. I'm the mean guy. I'm the one who just does structure. So one thing I do is I would try to put a leash on that pug. And anytime he's out of his crate or out of his playpen, I have a leash on so I can mitigate and control some of that bad energy. And I say it's bad energy because energy that goes unchecked tends to find a bad channel, like nipping, jumping, biting, pulling.
Drugs, alcohol, all those things.
Yeah, dare, D-A-R-E. So we're basically trying to find a better channel for that energy. Ooh, look at all that hair.
Look at her. I just love retrievers. Oh my God. Goldens are the best. They're not all like this, but they're the best.
No, they're really not. So I would say doing a relationship building exercise, trying to channel some of the energy to a better channel. Grab a handful of food, take your meal, have a pouch of food on your waist at all times, anytime they're not in the crate or in the playpen, have them on the leash.
That's the key right there. You skip that step, you're going to be working from behind the whole time.
Yeah, because you're trying to grab their attention, you're bargaining for attention, when usually pugs with food, you got this crazy eyes looking for it. So it's small handful of food, dog's name, come, good treat, dog's name, come, good treat, and when they start building up energy, dog come, sit, pause, good treat, and then find some kind of release word. We like the word break. Some trainers use the word okay. It's totally up to you. And you're trying to channel that energy into a more positive route. Oh, passing her off. She's getting mad at me.
Oh, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. And these are new pants. My mistake, taking it to a dog training facility. Yeah, just give the energy a better channel. Usually you can prevent a lot of it. I can give you my more generic 3-strike rule as well. Strike 1, say no, give some kind of redirection. Like I'll even take a toy, and if it's mouthing like this, and it's not biting, it's not like a snap, which is more nippy. Mouthing, I'll just take a toy and I'll try to just kind of shove it in front of the face and let her chew on the toy and see if I can redirect to that. If it's more of a snappiness, more of an actual like lunge to bite.
Especially if there's freedom in the home and your pug is running around a lot, getting worked up and doing drive-by ankle bites, and you try to grab him and he bites you, that's arousal. You need to manage energy better.
Strike 2 is say no. You can step in front, kind of stop the zoomies.
Like blocking?
Grab the leash or step on it. It should be on the harness for a 3-month-old pug because they got the bulgy eyes, they got the flat nose, so you can't put it on the flat collar. You don't want any pressure up here. And then step on the leash on the harness, so kind of stop them short, get in front, step in, say no, body block. You get this golden moment where they're kind of like, ooh, big old crazy eyes. It's not fear, even though it looks like it. It's actually surprise that you're willing to escalate to their level and go one above it with that step. And it gives you that golden moment to be like, no. I'm going to use Snuffy because our pug is Snuffy. Snuffy, no. Snuffy, come, sit, good. Oh, the energy though. Oh, Bethany's about to pick on me.
It depends on the dog.
Snuffy, come.
Yeah, usually it's
good.
Like that. Yeah.
Sit, good.
Now I'm going to talk. Are you done? Oh, 3rd strike.
Oh, I forgot about 3rd strike.
Calmly pick your dog up. They're not in trouble, and put them in crate and walk away.
Close it, lock it, cover it with a towel.
It's not going to teach your dog to stop biting, but it's going to prevent the frustration wheel from happening, and you're not mad about it. You just pick your puppy up, and you're just giving everybody a break.
Boy, you're not going over that enough though. She said you're not mad about it. You're not anything. You're not happy, mad, sad, or glad. You're neutral. Unemotional and
neutral.
You
just pick the dog up, no big deal.
Because you'll research this, and people always say, never punish your dog with the crate.
We're not.
And they're right. It's the energy that makes a punch. Bad dog, no. That's a punishment.
Or just frustration. Just just
your
that
puppy's now
picking 'em
saying
up.
it's a negative, and they're more likely to bark, whine, cry, or not want to go in the future.
Now I want to talk about energy real quick. You got this cute pug, so how are you harnessing a lot of the relationship that you're building with them? First 24 hours is crucial with your new puppy. So what did you do with your new puppy? Did you try to shape some basic follow me commands with food? And
shape is a dog training word. You're gonna have to break that down.
I'm not done yet.
You're working towards it.
I'm working towards it. And come and follow me, and here's your potty area. Like, you're shaping how you want your dog to behave in the house. So this isn't your area over here. This is your new playpen. This is your crate. Like, just very, very low key, right? Or did you do this? What we're doing? Because then it's really hard for the puppy to see you as anything other than a fun chew toy companion and like one of their siblings. Except you're not supposed to be the sibling, you're supposed to be the mom,
the leader,
correcting the siblings for getting too rambunctious, setting boundaries. You should start your dog stopping at thresholds right away. Crate door right away. You can Google that real quick. How to stop my puppy at crate door, how to stop my puppy at thresholds, threshold etiquette. There's some terms that you can look up. We also have a YouTube channel where you can learn a lot of that stuff from our YouTube videos on from the Puppy Academy.
Yeah.
And then
also puppyacademy.com. Online school.
Yes, we do have an online school, which is on thepuppyacademy.com. Just click, there's some online section you can click, and you can see if you like our school setup. It's very, very thorough. We've got like a basic obedience section, and then there's a lot of all the life stuff.
Almost like a workshop, like multiple workshops on how to work through separation anxiety, fear, everything.
There's a lot of the life stuff that you don't get from other programs. But anyway, I want to know, what is your demeanor like with your dog? This dog is calm automatically, so it's not a good example. But if I was holding her, training. If I was holding her and maybe like looking at her feet and doing some handling, I want to make sure my touch helps her be calmer. I don't want to be going for the face, oh, what a good puppy, and sticking my phone in her cute face and to get photos. I want to make sure that my energy doesn't change her energy. So when my puppy is calm, then I can pet my puppy and it's very calm as well, and it doesn't spike their energy, so you're not associated with excitement. Those are all your baselines. Like, that's all your foundation stuff that you got to do first. To really see who your dog is, because you might accidentally be being permissive, rewarding excitement, representing excitement, all these things where trying to do the other stuff won't help you any at all if you don't get your foundation in check. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of where to start. Adventures of Driving Miss Daisy. I love this. How do you stop a dog barking in the car? For you guys,
I had to look you up as well. I had to check out that Instagram page.
Did you get an idea of age?
2020, November something 2020.
So a couple years old. 2-year-old dog. So this is not a puppy anymore, just for everybody to be clear.
It's an adolescent dog, it's an adult dog, and you're getting more adult dog behavior. So I'm guessing the level of escalation isn't low. It's no longer the exploratory bark to see what I get when I bark. It's the bark because I don't like something around me.
That's what we're guessing, because we don't know.
We don't know. We're just guessing. But that could be strangers coming up to the car, dogs walking by the car. My best advice, and I'm sure Bethany has other suggestions as well, is I like to get a crate for the car. I know not everyone can have a crate. They don't have a crate that could fit in their car. I remember that dog being, it looks like some kind of doodle mix.
Which means it could be big.
Yeah, so it could be big, could be small. If it's a smaller dog, I think most people can fit a crate in their back seat, just sideways, and then I would still cover it, because the whole key is that they can't see out of the crate, which makes so they don't have that reactivity. And reactivity is kind of a buzzword. It doesn't mean aggressive, it doesn't mean fearful, it just means I see something and I want to react by barking for some reason. And then it's our way of blocking that. Do you want to add to that? No, you do.
Well, it's an adult dog, so my advice is totally different than with puppies, just to be clear. I would get a leash on that dog, and I would go to the park, and I would stop. Like, I would just, leave my car on, but I would stop and I would have the leash. You could try Pet Corrector too. Pet Corrector squirts out air. And I would practice with people coming and going by the car at the park, because you can't do it while you're driving unless you use an off-leash leash.
Or you have a partner.
Yeah, or you have a partner. Yeah, that's another one. And my whole thing, well, not just mine, Sparky feels this way too. We personally feel like when a dog, an adult dog, is barking their head off. The bomb is going off. The fire is raging. I'm not going to put a piece of food in front of a dog and redirect that. I've already lost them. My teaching moment is long gone. Maybe I have to pull my dog out of the car and do a little bit of slip leash pressure, calm them down, and then get them back in.
Which grabs their focus when you use slip leash pressure. You become more important than the thing around them.
You're supposed to.
Ideally.
Yeah, ideally. It depends on the dog and your handling skills. But then I'm going to go after the alert. So if, that's alert.
We have dogs outside.
We have a dog and her little head went crinkly and her ears went forward. And so if she was an adult dog in the back seat and I may not know what it is. It could be a shadow, but I see that arousal in my dog. I'm going to immediately use the leash, give a tug, give a redirection, try to pet correct her to snap her out of the arousal. And then when she looks away or at me, then I can start to layer food work for conditioning for people going by, to where eventually, this takes a lot of work, a lot of repetition, but eventually someone walks by and the dog is like, "Where's my food, Mom? There's a human there. Where's my food?" That's the goal, but that's takes a long time.
That's far down the line.
That takes months of conditioning. 20 repetitions every time you get into your car.
Would you say it's easier to do that with a puppy or an adult dog?
A puppy, not a puppy and an adult dog, not an adolescent.
Fair. We're even getting a little whine, a little frustration.
Knock it off.
So I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but I don't know if I'd put that under a growl. I think I'd put that more under I'm kind of frustrated and a little ticked off that I can't get to that dog and play, because that dog's doing long leash recall, which looks fun. She's just sitting here and watching it.
She's going
frustration noises.
Okay, anyway, hopefully that gives you an idea.
Can I add one more thing before we move on? I also like seat belting them to the middle seat. And you can actually get really cool little window blinders.
Yeah.
And you can pull down the window blinders. It doesn't prevent you from seeing out as a human, but it blurs all the outside things that they can see from the car. If they sit on a seat,
if you have kids and you need something for the sun,
Yeah. So I didn't know what they were called.
I don't know either.
But you put the seatbelt on either side. You put it, I think of like horse blinders, but you put a seatbelt on either side of the car, they're still looking out that window and they're close enough to see. You put them in the middle and you shorten that seatbelt tight.
Oh, that reminds me. You have an adult dog. You need to shape it down in the car.
Yes.
Like you've got to work on shaping it down in the car, and the dog understands down, so then when your dog doesn't lay down in the car, you can hold them accountable for not listening to the obedience command. Severe fear is the only exception, but we got to move on. This is adult dog stuff. All right, Parker Kimbo, it's the heel I'm struggling with. She'll do it when I say, but she doesn't when we go walking. Even walked her with treats in my hand for her to follow. Guys, try to give us age and breed when you do these questions.
If we have an adult dog, we'd give you completely different advice.
Yeah.
We'd give you completely different advice if it was a young dog. So I want to highlight what I do for a young dog.
What, like a 6-month-old?
4 to 6 months.
Okay.
4 to 6 months. So 6 months is when they start hitting adolescence. 8 months, I consider that to basically be an adult dog at that point, because mentally and maturity-wise, they're an adult dog. 4 to 6 months though, you're doing great things. You're doing what she said, which is shaping when you have the food, but you may not be ready to go into the real world on a harness. You may need a slip leash to get a little bit more focus, a little bit more guidance, and you're not working a dog. When you're on the walk and by the time they start pulling, you've lost your moment. You're looking for signs like she showed you. Where's your head? Give me your head. Which is the crinkly head, ears forward, ears forward, and when you see all that, that's when I'm like, oh, puppy, come, let's go, and I move away. I'll be honest, heel, I don't teach a dog until I got a really, really solid let's go.
Which is just a loose leash, move when I move, stop when I stop.
And it's super easy. It's not one of those walks where you're being really strict on a tight leash. It means you give them more freedom. They may even run ahead of you. They hit the end of the leash. You say, let's go, take a step back. You're far enough away from the distraction that you expect them to be able to turn. You can gauge that. We won't know what that is unless we see the dog. And when they look at you, show them food, rock back a few steps, good treat, and then walk in the opposite direction. You do this over and over and over again until you can trigger a response of they hear let's go or they feel leash pressure, they come in and check in with you. And it's all about maturity. If you have an older dog, I truly recommend looking for a balanced dog trainer in your area and see if they have any experience with different training tools that will help you. I've done a lot of gentle leader with my service animals and things like that. I introduced that very young. It gives you a little bit more guidance. Bethany's really great with slip leashes. There's a lot of great tools out there.
And we all have our own preference, you know. I would say you want to make sure that your dog understands pressure. And the first thing when your dog forgets that you exist is do not give 1 inch when they're pulling.
Freeze.
Not one. You freeze and slowly increase pressure.
Not with your arm though. Oh, you're gonna say it. You're gonna say it. Okay, go.
Not with your elbow up in the air, but directional pressure like a horse, which usually means your arm is down and you're giving direction that way. Slowly increase pressure. And then if your dog, I'd say, is 6 months or older, we do like 1 for every 10, where you can introduce giving slack, a little tug and release, and let's go, to kind of snap the brain out of that if you are getting that hardcore opposition. But if you do all the stuff that he talked about, you'll get way, way less of that. So if you do that every single time, dogs will get just used to it, they'll get desensitized, and they won't listen to that either. So just keep that in mind. But it can be a really great tool to cut through, you know, a squirrel going by or something like that.
If you add in the tug, and it's effective, say no before doing the tug. You're trying to empower your no with all these different things, body blocking, stepping in, your 3-strike rule, all of those things empower your no. So use the no if that tug is effective. If it's not effective at all, don't say it.
Unless your dog is really high strung, and then sometimes
it might even amp them up.
And then sometimes it's better to say nothing. See, a lot of this advice, guys, it's really tough, you know, especially when we get into these older dog questions.
Nuance.
There's so much nuance to it. Can we put little Sophia away?
But look how sweet she is. You don't want to hold her anymore?
I've been having to switch positions with her because she's getting, she's had it.
You gave the heavy puppy to the pregnant woman?
She's like, you guys are bored. She told me to, and she said to put her down.
You even made her pick her up?
Stop it. She told me to. She's my boss. I have to listen. Okay.
Give it to the pregnant woman.
Okay. Well, she brought her in. All right. Rizzle says, thoughts on tether... Zrizzle.
Zrizzle.
This is from TikTok. Hey, TikTok.
Rizzle me zizzle.
Thoughts on tethering your puppy in your own home. This I am taking first.
Okay, I'm going to add all the things you forget.
This is such a simple one.
I'm going to add all the things you forget.
I just talked about the fact that there's a lot of nuance, you know, depending on the dog, what's best to do with the dog. This is hardcore one of those things. What tethering your puppy means, for anyone that's not totally sure what they're talking about, is you're basically taking a leash and back tying them to something, so you're restricting the space that they can get to. No, it's not like a chain in a backyard on a dog, okay? So let's go over some parameters. When I hear is tethering my puppy okay, I'm thinking in the house, in the kitchen, with you there, okay? You're not leaving the room. And you're definitely not leaving the puppy unsupervised in a room being tethered. They can twist up their paw and you can have circulation issues. They can do something to their neck just from the pressure or get twisted up. They could just chew the leash and then they get into things anyway, destroy your bedroom door. There's all kinds of situations that can happen. So do not ever tether your puppy when they're not being supervised, and preferably you're in the same room. Maybe I might grab something quick in the other room, but unless your puppy's really good at being tethered, don't even do that. Why? Because tethering, the whole idea, what's the word I'm looking for? Theology, psychology behind it is to help your puppy learn how to self-soothe. And relax. So what does that mean? That means that the puppy's going to pull at the end of the leash, not be able to get to you, maybe do some whining, and you have a choice. You can ignore that whining. I'm not a huge fan of that, but that's a whole nother topic. Or you can address it with just a, hey, no, firm body language. Let your puppy know that you're not engaging with them right now. Like, no, me moving around is not for you right now. I'm in the kitchen. And see if they start to get the hang of it. You move more slowly. Don't be running around all quick, which is going to engage them again. You're trying to make your puppy be successful at understanding how to hit the end of the leash and settle back and settle in. And then that can help with self-soothing. But only paired with other training. Are you teaching place? Ooh. Are you teaching body language to reset even a 12-week-old puppy to move backwards back onto place when they step off, when you're practicing with them? Are you teaching them not to follow you in the house? whenever they have free time. So you're teaching move when I move, stop when I stop, and don't follow me. Are you teaching stopping at thresholds, stopping at crate door, making sure you're not getting them overly excited when you walk in the door, because then the tethering will never work. If you're not doing all of those things that I mentioned, probably more, but we'll keep it to that, then it's not, in my opinion, it's not fair to back tie a dog or a puppy and expect them to figure it out on their own. In fact, you can create a lot of anxiety. We've seen it.
Frustration, anxiety, oh yeah.
We've even seen it from trainers that don't really focus on the work and on the brain, and they just do place for food and then back tie the dog, and that's how they're supposed to learn to stay in place. They build frustration while having to be in place. So my point is, I'm not trying to say this is some easy concept, you should be able to figure it out just because we do. It's actually challenging. It takes time and practice. And some of you out there might say, oh, I tethered my puppy, I never did any of those things she said, and my puppy was fine and learned how to self-soothe and lay in the corner and nap like Sophie, that dog that just was here. Good for you.
I want to add.
That's not everybody. That's not everybody. So just please keep that in mind. I'm not done. I think that tethering a puppy can be a great tool to use for some puppies that don't see it as really, really frustrating. Sometimes no matter how hard you try, you have the type of brain with your puppy that they just fight it and get worked up instead of calming down. And so every dog is different, but for some dogs, this is an excellent way to have your dog be able to be out with you, not in a playpen where they typically whine. Sorry, Sparky, no offense.
What?
You didn't hear what I said?
No, I purposely chose to ignore it.
I was bashing his playpen. Okay, and it can be a great tool to use, but not every dog. So just be smart when using it. What did you want to say?
I also like to add a second leash for dogs that have layered on. From what she already said, they've already shaped how to stay on place, and they've gotten to a certain point where they can't get far. No.
Make sure. I was just going to say, make sure it's a cheap leash.
It's a cheap leash.
Don't buy
Papilla has
stuff.
really cheap ones, like $8, like 4-foot leash that are like ½ inch.
Because they're going to chew them.
And what I'll do is I'll add that second leash and I'll kind of just let it drape in front of them. Maybe I'll spray it with like a little bit of bitter apple too to keep the mouth off of it. And when they push that boundary and they hit the end of the leash, like Bethany said, they can't have constant tension. There's a lot of things that happen off it, whether it's on harness or flat collar. I'll use that second leash to do pressure up, out, step in, and body block them to push them back on their bed. I like pet cots, like elevated dog beds, because it's a step down and a step up, and I can actually step in, use my legs to kind of bump them back onto place, ask for a sit with food, wait them out. When I get calm, I don't reward instant gratification for my sit because that still feeds into impulse. I make them wait, pause for a second, take a breath. Them, not me, maybe both. And then when they take that breath and settle, good, treat. Ask them for a down if you've already layered on the down, and then I'll try to take that step back in. I know a lot of dogs that have been in this program that literally just cannot settle on place as some kind of extra thing. That's what I do that back tie for, with the second leash in front, so I can mitigate the energy and help them back off a few times. And then maybe I'll get a little bit more firm, do a more firm body block for my older 4 to 5 month old puppies, a little bit more mature, not your like 3 month old puppies, and then help them understand what you want in the moment through body communication, what we call spatial pressure.
I have a dog right here with me that had really bad separation anxiety, and I tried this technique with her because nothing else was working. Nothing. And she doesn't have separation anxiety when I leave. She has it when someone, because she's so nervous of people, when she actually knows one person, she has to be in their lap. That was accidentally
instinctual
nurtured.
Need.
Yeah, It was instinctual and it was accidentally nurtured. And
which is so easy to do.
It's so easy. Like, you barely give into it at all, and she takes it a mile. You know,
I had a lesson this morning,
they didn't know.
And I literally had communicated that, and while I was communicating not to pet the dog, she was petting the dog, had no idea.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, what are you doing? She was like,
it's just, you got to become more aware, guys, of what you're doing with your dogs. But anyway, I tried this technique with her. I couldn't use food. I couldn't even hardly.
Why couldn't you use food?
Because it made her even more uppity. Even if I did it calmly, it didn't matter how much I rewarded place. she didn't care. She was
amped her up.
Yeah, it did not help her understand to stay there. So it was a lot of blocking, and then she was only okay if I could stand. If I had to sit, I honestly just got to the point where I let her step off place, and she just did some pacing, and within 10 minutes she finally self-soothed. And I was like, okay, so this is what we do in combination with all of the other stuff, over and over and over again. And it took weeks, but it really started to completely change her mindset. And now she's so much easier to manage. I'm not saying she's perfect. She can still get whiny, but she stays on place for hours if I need her to. She listens better. So these things can be really valuable as part of an entire program. That's the main thing I want you guys to remember.
Can we do like a minute or less for this one? Because it looks like we got one question from TikTok.
Yeah,
you
sure.
said you'd answer their questions.
Sure. Chelsea says, tips for the first day of getting a puppy. Don't hold them.
Wow, damn. That was kind of savage. She kind of means it though. The more you hold a puppy, the more they get attached, and also the more. I was impressed. I'm like still kind of floundering for just the bluntness of that. Check out, look up structure schedules, get them on a crate schedule, a playpen schedule, a place training schedule, relationship building exercise, kind of everything we've already mentioned in previous questions already asked. But yeah, that's the easiest way of saying it. All right.
Well, wait. Let me.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and we'll answer it. But let me.
Oh, I thought they had a question.
No. Let me go into why, and if you guys have a question, pop it up here. So when you bring your puppy home, your puppy's nervous, or it has a pushy personality and you don't even know it yet. And when you hold it half the day, a third of the day, even an hour in that day, you're nurturing whatever mindset they have. So if they're a little nervous,
what you pet is what you get.
If they're a little nervous and you just become a big softie, you're not leading them and guiding them on how to deal with this new place. So you're shaping separation anxiety.
And
that's
it's so
what
hard
you're doing.
not to do it because we would think rationally that they're nervous, so you give them love. You're rewarding the nervousness with affection.
Yeah.
You're rewarding the nervousness.
You're rewarding the nervousness. And then what also happens is when that puppy gets more confident in a few days, and then they're the 3-month-old pug, that was on here biting everybody, and you try to say no, they're like, I don't believe you. You held me for the first 2 days, I was home. You cuddle with me all the time.
You're being nice.
You're excited all the time. Yeah, I was just a first day puppy. And so it makes it impossible for you to have any say in their behavior. So you're supposed to be the parent. This puppy is not a companion. It's not gonna be until they're an adult, mature dog, not a companion. And so your first 2 years, you're the parent. You're the teacher, but it's not a baby infant where they're held and feeding. That's not what it is either. It's an animal, it's another species. And you didn't even get that puppy when it was like an infant. You're getting the puppy later when the puppy needs to feel confident, have structure to learn how to work around, just like kids, and step out of that structure and there's a consequence and get back in. That puppy needs guidance and food work and shaping of commands. And just keep that in mind. All of those things are love. Everything we've said today on this live is love. And then when you do hold your dog, hold your puppy, mix in some handling. Touching of feet, ears, go slow, be calm, and keep it massage-based, not excitement-based.
I heard Bethany say this a week and a half ago at a lesson where we had someone petting a puppy. And she said, "What are you doing?" And the owner goes, "I'm rewarding him for doing good." She goes, "That's not a reward, that's a distraction. A reward is food or firmness and helping the puppy understand they did well through body language." Petting a dog doesn't help them, it hinders them because it puts excitement into them.
Usually, there are some exceptions.
I was saying, you have rare dogs that
There's
you pet them and they're just like, yep, I'm going to listen better.
You got to understand, most of the dogs we see, when the owners go and physically touch them, they get excited. And so it's
most people
no
don't come
longer
to the puppy academy or seek out training because their puppies are perfect.
Yeah.
They need help communicating in a more positive way.
So it's just making the dog's brain more excited, which makes it harder for them to learn and for them how to navigate this very, very difficult world of the city. And I'll be totally honest, I know some of you guys, if you live in rural Texas or Oklahoma or even where I grew up, some of our advice sounds crazy, and that's because you don't need it.
It might be crazy for you.
If you do half of what we say in more rural areas, you'll be so happy with your dog. But we don't see that in the city. The stakes are higher here. The dogs have to deal with more and more closeness with us as well, in apartments and smaller homes and little to no yard. So it is different. So I hope you guys, this has been like a context, would you say nuance episode for sure. So I hope you guys take that all into account. And TikTok says, oh my gosh, I want that dog. It must be the dog that we had earlier. She is so sweet. Oh my
Don't
gosh.
let that fool you though. That is not your standard golden retriever. It might even be a lab retriever. I don't know, but it's not your normal retriever.
All right, guys, same time, same place next week.
Thanks for joining us. Take care, guys.